Well, hello there, random person on the internet who hopefully saved up some wildcards, because today's deck has... Wait, I got this somewhere here, wait. Yeah, okay, you should probably not craft this deck. Ugh, the Golden Paradox. Now that's a bit fancy for a deck title. But to be fair, the deck is just 4 basics and 46 rares and mythics, so it looks pretty golden to me. The Paradox part though, that's a bit more complicated, so let me try to explain. Between Vikings and Tricksters, Kaldheim also brought with it a bit of a weird sub-theme in the Green Gods, and they're referring to legendary creatures, which got me brewing for quite a while. I mean, there's gotta be something there. Well, there is. I mean, there's this. This is what I came up with. I mean, it's something. It's a pretty wild pile of cards, but I hope to explain it as good as I can. I wish I had the time to write an article about this one, but I don't. So this deck tag is all we got. To get started, let's first take a look at these two 2-drops. Magda creates a treasure whenever it's tapped, and Kinnan produces extra mana whenever a non-land permanent is tapped for mana. Both of them would be fantastic if they would tap for mana themselves, but luckily we got Esika and Rishka to allow us to do exactly that. And all of these creatures, and actually every spell in this deck, is legendary. This lets us make great use of Mox Ember, but also Captain Sisay, which taps to tutor for any legendary card in the deck. But the most important card we can tutor for is Paradox Engine, which is actually where the Paradox part of the name comes from. It's also a bit of a paradox that this deck actually wins some games, but anyway. So with Paradox Engine, we can untap all of our non-land permanents whenever we cast a spell. So now we can tap Sisay again to tutor for another spell, tap our creatures again to generate even more mana, generate even more treasures with Magda, and yeah, pretty much get infinite mana and infinite untap triggers. Not really infinite, but enough. And then we just get a Golos, activate it until we exiled our entire library, cast the Jace, plus it, and win the game. But I mean, every opponent will just scoop before this, right? I don't have to edit all of this, right? Anyways, let's go over the remaining cards of the deck. Emry is another way to go infinite with Paradox Engine and 2 Mox Embers. Tamio finds and gets back our combo pieces. Urza's Ruinous Blast exiles all non-land, non-legendary permanents, so pretty crazy in this deck. Khan's Temporal Sundering bounces something and gives us an extra turn, so once we untap with 6 mana and Captain Sisay, we can chain these together to take 4 turns in a row. Chromatic Orrery fixes our mana and helps comboing off with Paradox Engine, and Kolvori serves as a mana rock in the early game and finds our legendary creatures with its tap ability on the creature side. Since every creature in our deck is legendary anyways, we can choose whatever creature type we want for the Ringheart crest. The official Brewer's Kitchen etiquette for this is Spike for dominance, Coward for disrespect, Goat if you're John Finkel, Eldrazi if you're Ali, and basically every silly creature type that is on Arena. If you find something funny, let me know in the comments. But while we're talking about flip cards, Esika can be played as the Prismatic Bridge to grind out value and profit from taking multiple turns with Khan's Temporal Sundering. Now all of this might seem a little complicated, but it's actually even worse, since there are so many tricks you can do with this deck, like Magda's second ability can get you a Paradox Engine in a pinch when you have 5 treasures laying around. The Ringheart Crest can only produce mana for legendary creatures, but if you have a Kinnan out, it will produce an additional green mana that you can spend however you want. And a pretty important tip is to understand how this deck wins. So you're trying to get this mana engine going and then find Golos, so you can exile and cast your library. But if you have a Kinnan out, you can just activate Kinnan until you find Golos. If you have a Kenrith, you can draw cards until you find Golos. Or if you have Captain Sisay, you can find any of these cards. So once you got the engine going and have one of these cards laying around, there's most likely a way you can end the game from there. Now, there are other ways to go about winning with this engine, and I will go over some of them after these games. For now, I just wanted to show you this deck and decided to make this video. Turned out to be a bit longer than I expected, but hey, what are you gonna do? And now, let's jump into some games. Just a heads up, every starting hand with this deck looks sketchy as hell. That being said, this hand is really a mulligan, so let's mulligan. I guess that one's a keep. Well, Did you see this? Wait, let's roll this back here. Look at this. I think it's kind of funny that Arena uses the original Totally Lost artwork for bugs like this. So anyway, let's get back to it. Bottom a Kenrith, and opponent starts off with the Plains and a Speaker of the Heavens. We play a Breeding Pool. Opponent, Temple Garden, Bishop of Wings, so probably Angel Company. Pretty good deck and pretty popular right now. We draw a land and play Magda. Really need an untapped land here next turn though. Opponent plays a Temple, scries to the bottom, Youthful Valkyrie, gets some life, swings in for 2. We just take it. We draw Urza's Ruinous Blast. It's gonna be pretty important later, but untapped land would have been pretty nice here. Opponent 4 mana, Angel of Vitality, gets a bunch of life and Authority of the Consuls, taps Speaker of the Heavens to get an Angel, gets all the life and swings for 4. Ooh, still no land here. We draw a second Golos and, well, play a Seeker. And, well, past the turn, I mean, we are not dead yet. So opponent plays a Temple, plays a Soul One. Yeah, so we're not dead. We do have to chump block though. Wow, this is going to be clutch. We block, full control just in case, create a treasure, and go down to 1. Okay, so time to wipe the entire board and, well, play a land past the turn. So if they draw a flyer here, we really need a land, otherwise we die. And that's a flyer. Oh, and that's a land. Wow, that is crazy clutch. Get an island. Cast Temporal Sunring. Bounce the Valkyrie. Get an extra turn. Next turn, play Golos. Get a land. Swing for 1. Opponent replace the Valkyrie. And a Skyclave Cleric. Not a flyer is not a problem, so still in it here. Another Cast Temporal Sunring. Bouncing the Valkyrie. Swing for 3. We draw Magda. Activate Golos. Get a Rishka, play a land. Rishka, swing for 6 and play Magda. Opponent, Righteous Valkyrie again and Speaker of the Heavens. Draw World Tree. We gotta be very lucky here with the Golos activation. Tap Magda to make a treasure. Activate Golos and there it is. What the hell? Okay, and the Prismatic Bridge. Play Prismatic Bridge and Cast Temporal Sunring. Bouncing the Valkyrie again. Play a land. Swing for 8 and, well, we can just play another Golos and past the turn. Prismatic Bridge gets us a Tamio, plus search for Captain Sisay. And we miss. So Chromatic Orrery. Play a Rishka to get some counters. Swing for 10. Opponent just takes it. And activate Golos again. Mox Ember and a Magda. So yeah, still not dead. Opponent replays the Valkyrie and a land. And makes an Angel, but at this point we probably won the game here. Prismatic Bridge gets us Kinnan, we draw Max Ember, but let's sacrifice our treasures, activate Tamio, wipe the board again, and this probably does it. Opponent still hanging in there. We activate Golos, Sisay, and nope, there's the good game. What a clutch game. Wow. Well, we take those, but I have to say I kind of misplayed here. When we plus Tamio, we could have set Paradox Engine, and what do you know, we would have actually hit it, which would have allowed us to go infinite. And same thing the turn after, we could have just gotten the Paradox Engine and comboed off. But I was too focused on removing the threats and we won anyway, so good game. And oh, what's this? Well, that's just a friendly reminder to like the video if you want to support the channel. Thank you if you did, and off to the next one. And let's go. Wow, that's a pretty spicy hand, but it's a keep, so yeah, opponent plays a Plains. Speaker of the Heavens again. That's might be the same matchup here. We play a World Tree. Opponent Plains and Bishop of Wings, so probably the same matchup. We shock in a Stomping Ground, play Magda, and play Mox Amber. Opponent, yep, Righteous Valkyrie, gets some life, swings in. We draw another Magda, play a Rishka, and play a World Tree. Opponent, Resplendent Angel. Well, I mean, I'm just gonna wipe the board again here. They make an Angel, pump their team, swing 4/4. End of turn, they get another Angel and some more life, but yeah, I'm just gonna wipe the board again. Oh my god, 2 in a row. Yeesh. This time we have 12 life though, and some board presence, so shock in the breeding pool. Tap Magda for mana, create a treasure. Play another Mox Amber, Legend Rule the other one, and have enough mana to cast a Golos here. Pretty sweet, get a land, and now we are well ahead. Let's see what our opponent does. Luminac Aspirant, and another one. Pretty good effort from our opponent to come back, but we make a treasure, activate Golos. Let's see what we get. And Captain Sisse and another Urza's Ruinous Blast. Yeesh. Wipe the board again. And, well, play a land. Play Emry. Another Mox Amber. That's pretty nice. So, we win next turn? Yeah, pretty sure we win next turn. Opponent plays an Angel of Vitality and, well, activate Captain Sisse. Get a Paradox Engine. Play Paradox Engine. Activate Emry. And I'm gonna stop the footage real quick here, since now we pretty much have infinite. So, we can tap Emry to get a Mox Amber out of our graveyard, sacrifice the other one to the Legend Rule, tap it for mana. Paradox Engine will untap everything, so we can tap Emry again to loop these Mox Ambers. This will untap our creatures every time we do this loop, so we have infinite tutors from Captain Sisse, infinite mana. In paper we could demonstrate a loop and just activate Golos and exile our entire library, but since we do have to do all of that manually, I kind of stumbled my way through this here, so yeah, I'm just gonna show you what I did. I hope you read the cards. So, tap Magda, create a treasure, lay a Mox Amber, untap everything, Captain Sisse, get a Khan's Temporal Sundering, get back the Mox, tap for mana, Khan's Temporal Sundering, untap everything, Captain Sisse, get our Kinnan, tap for mana, replay Mox Amber, untap everything, get back a Mox Amber, Captain Sisse for Kenrith, get some mana, Kinnan, untap, play Kenrith, give everything haste, and here we go. Activate Golos, activate Captain Sisse, get a Seeker, play a Seeker, untap everything, Golos, Golos, get a treasure, play a Mox Amber, untap, get a Jace, Golos, activate Golos, and get a treasure, play Rishka, untap everything, Golos, 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 and play a Jace, untap everything, and activate Golos, and another time, and now cast Prismatic Bridge, untap everything, Golos one last time, and that is GG. Activate Jace, draw a card. Shoutouts to our opponent for hanging in there. We didn't go the direct route, but it's pretty hard to fizzle once you do all of this stuff, so I guess at least we didn't time out, right? So a few things to say here. First of all, try to go the direct route. Your opponent is most likely gonna scoop if you just dawdle around. Another thing, if you Legend Rule the Mox Ambers with the Paradox Engine in play, you can hold full control and untap and tap the Mox that is in play before you Legend Rule it. You'll see in the next games. I'll probably mention it when I do it. So yeah, crazy game. Off to the next one. And let's go! This hand is a mulligan. This one's a keep though. We bottom the Khan's Temporal Sundering. We just need to draw another land here. Opponent Temple Garden tapped. Draw a land. Perfect. Play the Triome. Opponent Abzan Colors and Wildgrove Walker. What a blast from the past here. Shock in a breeding pool. Play a Kinnan. Opponent Merfolk Branchwalker. That is sweet. And a Mythos of Nethroi. So I guess some fair Abzan list. Passes back. We draw Stomping Ground, shock it in, play a Rishka, get some counters, and pass the turn. Opponent Seeker Squire explores, Murderous Rider into the graveyard, and an Edgewall Innkeeper, so I guess they just threw together the Explorer and the Adventure package and spiced it up with Mythos of Nethroi. Seems pretty cute, but probably a bit too fair for Historic. So let's see what we draw here. It's a World Tree. I guess play is Seeker, and since our creatures tap for 2 mana with Kinnan, we can get a Plains and wipe the board again. Let's see what our opponent does here. Land, Murderous Rider, our Kinnan, so we gotta draw something here. Oh, Word Tree is pretty much nothing, so swing for 4 and pass the turn. Well, these removal spells are actually pretty good against us now. Murderous Rider on a Seeker, but there's a Jace, that's pretty good, although it will get killed by Mythos of Nethroi, but at least we draw a card from it. Plus on our opponent, mill and draw a land. Okay, opponent Seeker Squire and Murderous Rider, so our Jace lives. We draw another land, plus Jace, draw a Kolvori, that's interesting, play a land, and yeah, now they kill our Jace, and they make a token with a Lovestock Beast. We cycle a Triumph, draw another Triumph, and draw a Kinnan though, that's pretty sweet. So play Kinnan, play a land, and pass the turn. Lovestruck Beast, activate Kinnan, end of turn, and get a Seeker. Whoop. That's a Magda. Almost assembled the Avengers here. Opponent Jade Light Ranger gets a land, mills a Lovestruck Beast, plays a land, end of turn, activate Kinnan, find a Golos, activate Kolvori, get a Rishka, cycle a Triumph, draw another land, get a Mox Amberbird, activate Golos. There's a Khan's Temporal Sundering, so extra turn, bounce the token, and no ants here. Opponent just scoops it up. We actually ranked up here, so that's pretty sweet. And yeah, of course we like this game. Yeah, but don't use this deck to rank up. I just played it in ranked so people don't scoop, but obviously it's a pretty spicy pile of cards, and even though we win against fair decks like this Abzan deck, and some games you just win because you Ruinous Blast their entire board, but if you play against something like Elves or Goblins, even though we got a good hand here, there's not much we can do if they play a Elvish Archdruid on turn 2. Yeah, we can play a Magda and even follow it up with a Wishka, but they can play a Forest, an Elvish Warmaster, a Clan Caller, get a token, a Realm Walker, and another Clan Caller. So that's their turn 3, and yeah, we can play the Rishka and play the Mox Amber, but there's no way we get out of this. So even though they draw land here, they can just attack. We have to chump block here. Can make a treasure, but you just lose against starts like this. But the good thing is, we can at least kill ourselves with this breeding pool. So I guess at least go out on your own terms. And well, I guess that's GG. I just wanted to show you that you have no chance against these hyper-aggressive aggro decks. So just take this match as every Goblin or Elves matchup, and I'll show you the interesting games. So let's get into another one. Okay, let's go. This is actually a pretty good hand, so play a Triumph. Just need to draw an untapped land here. Opponent plays Hallowed Fountain tapped. No land here, we play a Word Tree. Ugh, another Hallowed Fountain tapped, so probably some control deck. Play a Magda and play a Fabled Passage and a Mox Amber so it doesn't get countered later. Opponent plays a Plains, passes back, so we crack Fabled Passage. And yeah, this is just a counter in their hand, I suppose. So swing with Magda, create a treasure, play Emery to bait out the counter. Yep, there's the Absorb, so we can play Captain Sisay and maybe untap with her next turn. That would be pretty sweet. Okay, never mind. That's a Wrath of God. Kinda expected this, but play Kinnan. And yeah, now we could just play Jace here, but I figured since we're not gonna resolve it anyway, and they probably not play many permanents that are worth bouncing, we do play the Khan's Temporal Sundering here first, so yep, play the Sundering, get an extra turn, draw a Rishka, so we can play both Rishka and Jace here, but we do have to tap our mana manually for this. So play a Rishka and play the Jace, plus Jace on our opponent, milling a Teferi, gotta be aware of this, and draw a Urza's Ruinous Blast, which is pretty bad in the matchup. Opponent foretells a card and passes back. We draw a Sisay, plus Jace, mill some counters, draw a Mox Amber, swing with Rishka, and we're not gonna run into another counter here, so just keep the mana open for Kinnan. Opponent seems to have something here. And it's a Brazen Bower on our Kinnan, so activate it right now. Get a Magda for it. Opponent plays a Crawling Barons, foretells a card, just passes back. Well, this Jace is generating a lot of value here, plus it. Draw another Urza's Ruinous Blast, replay Kinnan, Probably getting countered. Yep, there's the absorb. And well, I mean, against control, we don't really want to extend our board, so just swing for 5 and probably eat another Wrath here. Yep, there's the Doomscar. They probably keep the 3 mana open to play the Brazen Borer. So we plus Jace, mill 2 cards, draw a land, play Captain Sisay, and now they have to decide if they want to counter it or play the Brazen Borer. Let's see what they do here. Sweet, they let it resolve, so we can play a land. And they play the Brazen Borer to pressure our Jace. Captain Sisay though, pretty good if we untap with it. Never mind. There's Elspeth Conquers Death. Exile our Sisay. Sure, swing at Jace. We draw land, plus Jace. And draw a Paradox Engine. So we can sacrifice the treasure, play the Paradox Engine. So here's the trick I was talking about. Hit full control. Play a Mox Amber, the trigger goes on the stack so we can untap and tap the other Mox Amber and then keep the untapped one, and Urza's Ruinous Blast wipe their board. Not too much, but at least we get some value out of it. Also, they don't get the Teferi back that was in their graveyard, so sweet. And opponent just plays the planes and passes back. Okay, we plus Jace. Draw a Magda, play the Magda, and play the Kenrith. Let's see what they do here. I mean, they probably got a counter. Yeah, I mean, could have seen that coming. Okay, and it swings his Revelation for 2. So they are back up to 4 cards now. Let's see what they do. They play an Authority of the Consoles for tell a card and pass back. We draw an Seeker plus Jace, mill 2 cards. Draw Captain Sisay, pretty sweet. Attack with Magda. They take it, play Captain Sisay, whoop, it resolves, and play the Prismatic Bridge, untap everything, and behold the multiverse. Maybe we've run them out of counters here. Sure. And yeah, okay, end of turn they Brazen Borer or Prismatic Bridge, but we still have a chance to untap with Captain Sisay here, which would be pretty sweet. Never mind, that's the Wrath of God again. Okay, but we still got our Jace here, and we could actually ultimate it here, but drawing a card every turn is insane against control, so I'm not gonna ultimate it and kill it, so plus it again, mill 2 cards, draw a forest, play the forest, play a Kinnan, and replay Prismatic Bridge. Arena didn't tap my Mox for it, so it doesn't get untapped. It's pretty sad since we now have to play another Mox to activate Kinnan, but sure. Let's hit full control again and tap the Mox, keep the new one, activate Kinnan, and completely miss. Wow. Okay then, so pass the turn. Opponent, just a Brazen Borer to pressure our Jace, that's fine. Swing a Jace, cast a Dream Trawler, so they only get 1 mana up. So Prismatic Bridge gets us a Golos that is absolutely the best hit we could have gotten. Get a land, draw a card, it's Captain Sisay plus Jace, mill some cards, it's a land, well, sacrifice our treasure, tap our Mox, and with a Ruinous Blast, wipe the board. And activate Golos, get a Kolvori and another Golos, so play the Golos, untap our Mox, get a land, tap our Mox again, play Kolvori, untap our Mox, activate Golos again, that's another Mox, and a Chromatic Orrery, so we cast the Orrery, untap our stuff, activate Golos again, that's an Seeker and a Paradox Engine, play a Seeker, untap, activate Golos. Jesus Christ, that's 2 Khan's Temporal Sun Rings, so that is definitely GG here. Activate Golos again, another Khan's Temporal Sun Ring, untap, activate Golos, that's a Kinnan and a Rishka, and yeah, our opponent realizes there's no way we fizzle from here, so that is a GG. You would think control is a pretty bad matchup, but since most of our spells generate some value by themselves, it's actually not that bad. You just have to bait out counters and not run everything out there. So yeah, pretty interesting match here. And one more. Okay, this hand looks pretty slow, but I guess it's an okay keep on the play. So keep, play a Triome. Let's hope our opponent doesn't aggro us down. Lano Elf, not a good sign though. We draw Mox Ember, play another Triome, pass back. Opponent Pelt Collector, Mountain, Scavenging Ooze. Okay, so we shock in a Breeding Pool, play a Seeker, and not play the Mox Ember in case they have a Gem Razor. Opponent, Kazandu Mammoth, and a Swings. We block the Pelt Collector, we draw a Mountain, so play the Mountain, play Kenrith as a blocker, and pass the turn. Let's see what they do here. Play a Mountain, pump the Mammoth, play a Great Henge and a Lano Elf, draw a card, swing for 5. I guess we should somehow try to win here. I guess if there's some chance to do it, it starts with Paradox Engine. Tap Kenrith for mana, play a Mox Ember, untap everything, tap our creatures and our Mox, play a Rishka, untap everything, get some counters, give everything haste, tap everything, play a Jace, plus Jace, Millen, Embercleave, that would have killed us next turn. We hit full control, do the Mox Ember trick, keep the new one, tap everything for mana, play a Chromatic Orrery, and I can't believe we're actually going off. But while I say this, we should draw cards with Kenrith here, right? But I miscalculated and drew cards with the Chromatic Orrery, and leaving me with only 1 mana up and 2 2-drops in hand. Yeah, so we fizzled, and it's completely my fault. I was even debating not including this match because this misplay was so infuriating, but then again, we can learn from my mistake here, and I mean, we're not dead, and if they have an Embercleave and we die, we absolutely deserved it. So yeah, let's see what they do. Yeah, they play a land, pump the Mammoth, so we have to block it here. If they have an Embercleave, we die, but we can block with Kenrith here. Block, go down to 2, so you know what that means. Bonecrusher is lethal, and yeah, they activate Scavenging Ooze. Even our little fox knows that this turn should have never taken place. We should have just won the game last turn. Okay, so this time we plus Jace, mill some cards, draw a card. At this point we can't really fizzle though, so we even forgot to tap the Chromatic Aura here. But never mind, tap everything, wipe the board, untap everything. We have all the mana in the world now. Play Magda, untap everything. This time we can safely draw with the Chromatic Orrery, draw Captain Sisay and Khan's Temporal Sundering, play Captain Sisay, get an extra turn and bounce the Great Henge, and draw cards again. Now we do just swing in here and pass the turn, so we can activate Captain Sisay. Activate Captain Sisay, get a Khan's Temporal Sundering, which is pretty unnecessary, we should just get Golos. Play the Sundering, untap, get a Golos, play the Golos, and well, I'm just gonna fast forward this, so yep, do a thing, play the Ringheart Crest, and even though we misplayed the hell out of last turn, we still name creature type Spike, so take that, opponent, and activate Golos one last time, swing in, pass the turn, take an additional turn, and that is a GG. Pretty rough misplay here in this game, especially since we would have won out of nowhere. They are playing the Paradox Engine and chaining together a win, but I made a mistake, and yeah, this happens in Magic. Just don't get discouraged by it. Now, if they would have had the Bonecrusher Giant and killed us here, good for them, we would have deserved this, and that is it for the gameplay part of the video. But at the beginning of this video, I mentioned there are other ways to go about winning with this deck. Let's first go over ways to give our team haste. I decided on playing Kenrith since it is an insane mana sink with infinite mana, but you could also play Samut, which would allow you to untap your creatures, which would be pretty sweet with Captain Sisay. You could also play Perforos, which pretty much does nothing else than give your team haste, but it's a god, so it could be tutored out with the World Tree, and if you throw in an Oketra and activate the World Tree with these two and infinite mana, you could overrun your opponent with infinite tokens. That's a little too spicy, I guess. Talking about spicy wins, you could also play the new Kaya and then chain some extra turn spells to ultimate her, and then you can loop Khan's Temporal Sundering to take infinite turns, but that's just winning with extra steps, and it's actually kinda disrespectful, because it's just a pretty inefficient way to go about winning with this. Pretty respectful would be to get a Yaya's Immolating Inferno and just fireball your opponent for lethal. Another idea would be to get a Tigrid and play the Lantern side, and then with the infinite untap triggers just kill your opponent. And another interesting card for the deck would be a Khan, which would get you access to a Khan sideboard with combo and hate pieces in it. So yeah, with that, that's the end of this video. Thank you for everybody who watched until this point. I guess if you watched until this point, you are probably subscribed. If not, please do that, and remember to hit the bell to get notified whenever I upload. As mentioned in the intro, I am planning to make an update video on this channel. Still not sure where it's going, so I didn't do the video yet. I guess it's also worth mentioning that I got the grade for my bachelor thesis, and it's an A+. So thank you for everybody who watched my videos and took part in my survey. It was a pretty wild ride, and besides 1 month of analyzing statistics, it was pretty fun. So yeah, thank you, and with that being said, let's see you in the next one.